Hey y'all, I've got a Pilates fundamentals workout for you today. So grab your mat, grab your body, and let's rock. Okay, lying down on your back with your knees bent, feet flat, and hands on your ribs, we're starting with breathing. In Pilates, we really breathe in a specific way. It's called lateral breath. Lateral breath is thinking about inhaling, expanding your ribs out to the sides, and exhaling, drawing your rib cage together in the front and back as if you're zipping an internal corset. Try that a few times. Keep breathing here and feel how your abdominals can start to draw in, how your spine and back ribs can get heavier on the mat. Arms float up to the ceiling for shoulder protraction and retraction. You reach your arms above your chest as if someone's pulling you up to the ceiling, and then you reverse, draw the heads of your shoulders back down into the mat. Keep going there. We're making sure your rib cage is staying still, your abs are staying active, and your neck and chest are loose. Lower your arms down. Keep that feeling of your best posture against the mat as we lift the arms back overhead, and then they go back down to the floor. Keeping your shoulders down and back and away from your ears. Keep going. Imagine using your abdominals even more and resisting the flaring of your rib cage. When you're ready, we're going to add on with a chest lift. Your arms will go down. You'll use your abdominals to scoop your belly and lift your head. Keep going here. The movement's really initiated from your belly button being pulled down to the mat underneath you, like there's a string pulling your belly button down into the floor. Try it a few more times with your palms stacked behind your neck. This will help if you ever feel like during Pilates your neck starts to get tired or your head is just too heavy. Now we're adding marches, so I want your whole trunk and your pelvis to stay still as you lift one knee to tabletop position. That's the position you see when my leg makes a 90-degree angle right above my hip. Now with both legs in tabletop position, we add our chest lifts here. You're going to feel like this is definitely more advanced without using your feet. It's all coming from deep inside your core. Hold this last one up. Add your toe taps. We're maintaining our chest lift, tapping one toe down to the floor as if it's dipping in water and alternating our legs here. So this is by far the most advanced version of everything we've done. We're adding all the different layers to it. How can you keep trunk stability? How can you breathe without moving your ribs? How can you move your leg without moving your hips? We're back in our chest lift position for our 100. You'll see here everything's staying still. I'm working my arms long and strong, pumping them up and down and up and down. The important part of your Pilates 100 is to breathe, inhaling through your nose without flaring your ribs, exhaling through your mouth. Keep going there. Modification, one hand can go back behind your head, but don't forget to switch. And you're finished. Your abs should be so warm by now. Let's set up for one leg circles. Legs go long, one leg up, and place your hands to your hips as we start to circle this leg. You want to use your inner thighs and abdominals here. Imagine you're massaging the inside of your hip joint. Do it a few times there, then reverse the direction of your leg. Make sure your opposite leg on the ground stays completely still. At the top, start some ankle circles here. We've got a hamstring stretch. Both legs stay long. And then let's go to the other side. Pick one direction, down, around, and up. Make sure your hips are staying still and the movement is coming from deep inside your belly. These are called one-leg circles. Don't forget to reverse your circles and make them as even as possible. When you're ready, catch your leg for your hamstring stretch. Let your ankle release. Try to lengthen the back of your knee. Alrighty, arms go out to a T, palms flat. We're bringing our legs to tabletop for corkscrew prep. You take your knees, your thighs over to one side, and then using your abdominals, you draw them back up to the top. Taking big deep breaths and squeezing the inner thighs here. You're letting your opposite hip lift and we're turning on our obliques. Let's go to the other side. You might even feel a big stretch in your back and your hip and your ribs. Feel that stretch, but don't let your opposite shoulder lift off the mat. Now let's advance. Knee circles, keeping your legs together. Think about drawing circles with your kneecaps on the ceiling. You're going to feel your obliques working here, and you're going to feel your hips making a little dance on the mat. Keep alternating directions, and again, don't let your upper body move. How can you disassociate your lower body from your upper body? Keep your circles as small as you need to. And make sure you're breathing here. We're trying to fire up the sides of your body without using too much of your hip flexors. Okay, Okay, hug your knees into your chest. Great job on your abs basics so far, and let's sit up. Alrighty, let's take our half roll back, hands behind your thighs to round, hollow your spine until your arms get straight. Use your belly to round back up and restack your spine. Do that a few more times, really hollow out. Scoop your belly backwards, push your feet down and lift your spine up as tall as you can. Keep going there. Push your feet down into the floor to anchor your lower body. We're trying to warm up your belly, which should already be warm, and we're trying to stretch your spine too. Now this time, roll back and reach your arms forward. We're taking the arms out of the equation here. So now your whole trunk has to stabilize. Keep going a few more times. Maybe can you tip your pelvis under more? Try to articulate through your lumbar spine, your lower back. How round can you get while drawing your abdominals behind you? Keeping your arms long and strong. They're not there to help you out anymore. Hands back behind the thighs, round your spine again, and when you're ready, lift your feet to balance. Notice I'm right behind my sits bones here. Then I sit back up tall. I round just about halfway back until I'm behind my sits bones and I feel a little wobbly. Feet down. Every time, how long can you balance? The point of this position is to find the scoop of the abdominals and be able to balance from your core. If you can advance, rock back to the tips of your shoulder blades and rock back up to your balanced position, trying to stay behind your sits bones. You might feel a little wobbly. Keep going there, never putting any pressure on the tips of your shoulders or your head. Rolling like a ball is a shape you'll see all over the Pilates system. So really try to scoop your belly, use your brake system, and keep your ball tight. Okay, for saw, open your legs the width of the mat. We've got our arms out wide. We rotate the spine without moving the hips. So how can you use your middle and upper back? We dive over opposite foot. We restack the spine to go to the other side. A lot of times here, you'll see movement in the heels and legs. Again, how can we disassociate the lower body from the upper body? Move your upper body from your core, your center, and push your legs into the mat to make sure they are staying still. We're going to hold it to one side and we're going to reach 10 times here. Notice how I'm pulling between both arms and scooping my belly off of my thigh each time. Don't let it just hang out. I'm using my whole body to saw my body in half. Other side, here we go. Dive up and over, rotating from the ribs. Pull your abs in and up and even work your triceps as you're pushing your thighs down. You're almost finished. Sit up all the way tall and relax. Okay, now we're gonna lay on our bellies for swans. Notice how I open up my legs a little wider than the hips and I push my palms into the mat right underneath my shoulders to lift the chest. Kind of think cobra in yoga. and then lower back down. In Pilates, I want you to imagine your abdominals, your belly button is pulling a peanut up and off the floor underneath you. So you're really zipping your belly, you're engaging your legs, you're pushing through your arms, but only to the limit that you can keep your shoulders down. If you feel shoulders creeping into your ears, you've gone too far up in your extension. In Swan, we're trying to open your upper back, we're trying to open your thoracic spine and improve your posture. Okay, hands go underneath your eyebrows, rest your head. Let's find some extension in your hips as you lift one leg. You bend and stretch this leg in our modification of single leg kick here. Without shifting in the hips at all, it's a small movement, but you'll notice my right thigh is lifted off the ground as I bend my knee in and out, getting my heel as close to the glute as possible. Here we're opening the front of the body while activating the back of your body like your hamstring and glute. Let's go to the other side. This is a great exercise if you sit a lot, if you feel like you've got tight thighs or tight hip flexors, or if you feel like you can't really get a good stretch through the front of the body. This is a great active exercise. Lower your leg down, and we'll sit our hips back for a nice shell stretch or child's pose. We want to get some flexion in your spine now. Okay, we're going to lay on our side for clam shells, keeping your ankles together, shoulders and hips stacked over each other. We open and close the top thigh. We're working your hips in this shape in your clamshell, but you've got to make sure to keep everything else still. Keep going in your clamshells and lift your ankles off. Now we've added a little bit of internal rotation of the top hip and made the shape bigger, so you'll notice that your top leg moves a bit more, but still keep your hips completely isolated. Legs lower down. We're going to extend your top leg long in line with your hip and just lower and lift the leg there. Your bottom leg can totally stay down on the mat. We've increased the challenge here by creating a long lever in your body. Your leg will feel heavier and your whole body will want to move more. How can you resist that? Give it a nice isolation hold. And now inner thigh. We take that same leg, we take it in front, resting the inside of the knee gently on the mat as we lift the opposite inside leg now. Now we're working our sideline legs inner thigh series. Trying to lift the leg up from your upper inner thigh and stretching your leg out long from under your body. We're trying to work your adductors. Hold it. Little tiny pulses really work into the upper inner thigh. Reach the leg out long. And we'll lower down to go to the other side. So just switch your legs and don't be exhausted like me. For clam shells, I like to place my top hand on my hip to remind myself where is my hip in space. It shouldn't be rolling forward or back. You should imagine there's an invisible wall behind you and you've got to keep your shoulders, spine, and hips up against the wall. Let's get ready to extend your leg out long. So think of your bottom leg as a base leg. As we lift and lower the top leg from the hip, the hips are the muscles that we've been warming up this whole time. So think about how can you isolate them without moving anything else, almost as if your upper body was in a plank position. This exercise is all about pelvic stability, so make sure you're keeping your hips still. Hold it here, feel the burn in the side of your leg. Exactly, and lower it down. Time for inner thighs. The top leg comes forward to rest. Lifting and lowering the bottom leg, both of these exercises are just small movements, so it's easy to let your upper body just relax. Do your best to keep your upper body engaged. It's actually really important to strengthen your inner thighs. A lot of us have weak adductors, and therefore we have tighter hip flexors and weaker abdominals. But if we really engage our inner thighs, we'll be stronger through our hip flexors and will recruit them a lot less. Small pulses right here, really accentuating the upper inner thigh. You're almost finished. All right, my favorite, let's bridge. We lift and lower your hips right here by pushing into your feet, articulating your spine. So you want to feel a nice back stretch as you roll down and up using the backs of your legs. Keep going here. How can you feel all the muscles that we just worked in your side lying leg series? Are you having an active upper body you're standing on? Are you firing up the sides of your hips? Are you thinking about engaging through your inner thighs almost like your invisible Pilates ball was between your knees? Now let's add some stability work. Feet together, we march the legs, finding your tabletop position. We're going really slow here. How can you use the back of one thigh to stabilize as the other thigh bone lifts in the hips? If you feel your hip bones shifting side to side or dipping down, make your position a lot smaller and a lot slower. This is a great exercise for pelvic floor strength, for stronger glutes and hamstrings, and it's important for a lot of exercises we do in everyday life. Okay, mermaid time. Here we go. Find a Z sit facing me, one leg bent in front, the other bent behind. We stretch over to your behind leg, and then we take opposition stretch. Opposite elbow goes down. Keep going here, trying not to let your lower body move with you. This position can be hard on hips and knees, so if it doesn't work for you, just sit crisscross applesauce. Moving your spine laterally is super important to have a balanced back and healthy spine. Let's switch our legs to the other side. It's called a Z sit. One leg forward, one leg back. You use your hand to pull yourself towards your back ankle. You lift the spine to go up and over to the other side. You're trying to make space between your ribs and your hips here. How long can we make the sides of your spine? Last big stretch right here. Really open the side of your body, and let's lay down on your belly for more extension, more back work. You lift your opposite arm as opposite leg with a little hold, then you lower it down. Again, imagine picking up a peanut with your belly button. Use your glutes and hamstrings to prevent any pelvic wiggles here. This is called swimming prep. Can you lift your head, neck, and shoulders and pick up the tempo? Now this is full swimming. Imagine you're swimming in a pool or in the Bahamas or in a lake. This is one of my favorite exercises because we're using your whole body and your mind. You have to use your coordination here. Lift your arms and legs and hold like Superman. And sit your hips back to shell stretch. Stretch your back. We just did a lot of strengthening and extension right there. Come onto all fours. Let's cat-cow your spine just like in yoga to stretch your back even more in flexion and then a little bit of extension, opening your heart here. Now let's find some stability work. Find a tabletop spine and tuck your toes. You hover your knees 1 inch off the mat. You can barely see it. I want you to think of this as a prep to your plank position. All right, it's your Pilates plank. Keep holding the stability of the upper body and scapula. Try to engage the muscles right underneath your armpits. Lower your knees down. Let's set up for modified Pilates push-ups. My knees come to the mat as I lower my chest to the ground. Elbows come in pretty tight to the body. If you need to modify, you can always do this standing with your hands against the wall. Now let's get ready to lift our hips to a downward dog position. Try to push the heels down and try to open the backs of the legs, especially behind the backs of the knees. Take some little prances or running here. All right, as you walk your hands in and roll up to standing, you should feel longer and stronger and taller. You're finished with your workout today, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will catch you on the mat. See you next week.